new law that would allow terminally ill patients to be treated with untested medicines has been given the support of the government. Catherine Taylor is acting chief executive at Ovarian Cancer Action. She supports the move, and Susan White, clinical negligence lawyer for Lay Day. They are in our central London studio. Very good afternoon to you both. Suzanne, perhaps firstly you could set out for us why you think it might be a problem.
Yes, I act for patients when they're being injured. I'm very concerned about this bill. Firstly, because I don't think it's needed or required. Lord Sarchi thinks that we need this bill because doctors are being sued for innovation. In fact, he hasn't provided any evidence for that. So the starting point of the bill is not a good point to start. But secondly, the bill is not supported by doctors' bodies at all. It's not supported by the British Medical Association, the Medical Defence Union, the GMC and the NPS. All these bodies represent doctors who are doing the innovating, and also they represent doctors that are being sued, and they do not want this bill because they are worried that it will muddy the water with the law, it will cause confusion for doctors, and therefore as a result of that they will not innovate. But on top of that also, for patients it diminishes their rights, and it allows a maverick or quack doctor to act on his own without a responsible doctor's view.
OK, I mean, many would say that's the extreme end of the spectrum. So, Catherine, why do you think that this should be available to the people that you deal with? A woman dies of ovarian cancer every 2 hours.
Well, good afternoon, Lorna, and thank you for inviting me onto the show to talk about this important issue today. You rightly say that a woman in the UK dies every 2 hours from ovarian cancer, and some 7,000 women are diagnosed each year. And the alarming thing about the disease is that the survival rates are very poor. Only 43% of women will be alive in 5 years' time after diagnosis. Ovarian cancer is a very complicated disease, and treatment lags behind some of the better-known cancers like breast and prostate cancer. And because of this, women with ovarian cancer desperately need innovative, creative approaches to tackling this disease. And if these can be made available to women in clinics today, then we have an opportunity to improve survival rates.
Does it not concern you, Catherine, about these women who are already having such an awful time in their lives, becoming guinea pigs?
I absolutely understand the concern of women having very tough treatment, but women work closely with their oncologists and with the MDT team around them, and they will discuss their treatment plan and the best opportunities for them to be treated successfully. So ovarian cancer is, as I mentioned, a very complicated illness, and we believe that the future lies in personalised treatment to combat this disease, because our understanding of cancer is improving all the time. I was talking to a patient only this morning about her hopes for the future, and she believes that the Medical Innovation Bill will offer this hope of personalised treatment.
Are there things at the moment, Suzanne, that do stand in the way of innovation? Is it purely a fear of what happens in the courts and for when things go wrong? What about for when things go right?
Well, there's innovation happening day in, day out. The Ebola virus is a classic example of that. And there's case law to support innovation. Doctors are not sued for innovating. The reason that cancer innovation is not as productive as it should be is because of other reasons, not because of this. And those are the reasons that should be addressed. The slowness of ethical committees, the funding of breast cancer drugs, the fact that pharmaceutical companies are not sharing their information between each other, all these issues are in the mix. This bill is actually going to make things worse for patients. Doctors don't support it, and patients are going, very vulnerable patients. In fact, actually, it applies across the board, not just to cancer patients. It goes to every patient. It's about medical treatment, not just patients that are terminally ill. So on every basis, it's a bad idea, this bill.
Right, what do you say then, Suzanne, to a patient with whatever, maybe a cancer, and the doctor says, oh yeah, there are trials of this going on, but I can't possibly give it to you even though it might help. I mean, that's a heartbreaking thing to have to hear when there's something there that could help.
Well, you'd have to ask a clinician that, but ultimately, if there's innovative treatment that's suitable for that patient, then the doctor will make that decision, can do so now. This bill will not help that decision.
Catherine, we talked about quack doctors, as Suzanne termed them there. What do the women that you deal with feel about that? I mean, communication between a doctor and a patient is so important when you're faced with a life-threatening condition.
That's absolutely right, and we would always encourage women and their clinicians to talk to each other about their treatment path, and for women to be empowered to have those conversations. One of the very tragic things around ovarian cancer is that it is hard to treat and hard to diagnose because it can present very late. So we would always encourage your viewers to be aware of the signs and symptoms of ovarian cancer. But these include persistent bloating, persistent stomach pain, feeling full very quickly when you eat, and needing to go to the loo more often. Note down these signs and symptoms. You can download a symptoms diary from our website and take that information to your GP so you can ask for a CA125 test. That's just the first step in the start of the ongoing communication between your GP and those who care for you in your cancer journey.
Okay, Suzanne, it's at the bill stage. I guess if nothing else, Lord Saatchi's bill has got the discussion going.
It has got the discussion going. We welcome that.
Lovely. Both, thank you very much. Suzanne White and Catherine Taylor, thank you for your time today.
Thank you very much.